All right, it's time for the NFL, Gage.
Bulk of the show. Not good this week. Actually, not true, but they lost. Yeah. Anyways.
Before we talk about week 9, we had the trade deadline just pass. So,
I really want to talk about this. I mean, you're Niners. I mean, from a fan standpoint, you got to love this. I want my team to do what the Niners do during the trade deadline every year.
Well, they took a page out of the Rams' book because they were the ones who started this by going out and getting impact players at the trade deadline.
I think it's nightmare fuel for me, but it's fantastic if you're a Niners fan. How could you not love this? They get Chase Young from the Commanders. And I know Chase Young, he had a really good first year. And he's kind of not, I hate to use the word falling off, but he's not what he has been. He got injured.
Yeah, I think the injuries have really kind of slowed him down. Production hasn't quite been there, but he's still pretty young. But
it's just you put it really well. They're doing what the Rams have done.
Yeah.
And
they're just going for it.
They're going for it. It almost they're kind of doing this has to be the year, which I don't think that's really the case. I think they have a couple years to work with still.
Well, it feels like this has to be the year has been the thing for the last 4 fucking seasons.
Okay.
And so it's it sounded like when I first heard it, I was man, it sounds desperate, but they only gave up a 3rd round pick, and that was the compensation pick they got for losing the coach. And so basically you're getting him for free. I'm fucking sign me up, Someone that can create some pressure on the opposite side of Nick Bosa.
The Ohio State connection.
Give me some more of that.
He's going to be number 92. What do you think about that?
I'm okay with 92.
Reminds me of Deshaun Stevenson.
Reminds me of Michael Strahan.
Ooh, yeah, that's a better call.
Deshaun Stevenson. You're a fucking idiot. I'm more on the Michael Strahan side of
that.
Makes
more sense. That makes way more sense. That makes way more sense.
At first I was like, who? I thought you were talking about a football player, and then I'm like, no.
I think I see a number, I think of somebody.
Fair enough.
But it's a good pickup by you guys.
Yeah.
You guys do not lack defensive linemen. I would imagine you would have loved to have seen more in the secondary.
Yeah, we could definitely use some upgrades at the cornerback position, but also our pass rush has been really bad the last few games, and I think that's, you could argue, a bigger reason that the defense has been bad.
Okay.
Yeah, they just have not been getting to the quarterback like they usually do. So yeah, I think that's a solid pickup for sure. Commanders made some more moves. They traded their other pass rusher, Montez Sweat, to the Bears, which was a little bit of a surprise. Yeah. And he signed an extension with the Bears actually shortly thereafter.
Commanders blowing it up, huh?
Yeah, they're just they're nuking it.
They are in rebuild mode.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Howell not the answer. I want him to be. I want him to be because obviously in my division.
Right. Well, it sounds like that's the guy they want to build around.
I don't. Okay.
But I don't necessarily agree with it.
Hey, if we can have Sam Howell and Daniel Jones in the NFC for the next
dude
for the next 5 years. Having Jalen Hurts stinks, but if that's all Dak and the Cowboys have to worry about from the quarterback position,
right,
I can live with that.
Well, when the Giants gave Daniel Jones $160 million, that had to be just music to your ears.
It's great.
Another defensive lineman on the move was Leonard Williams. He goes from the Giants to the Seahawks, which it's a nice pickup for the Seahawks. I didn't realize he's been in the league as long as he has. I think this is his 8th season now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but still a good player.
Yeah,
definitely can wreak some havoc in the middle there for the Seahawks. And then we talked about last time we were on the show, what are the Vikings going to do about quarterback? And they went and got Josh Dobbs from the Cardinals. Second time he's been traded this season.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs is not a world beater, but
he's not a needle mover.
He's better than...
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
He's an absolute gamer.
Yeah, he's better than the options that they had.
I'm going to mention him in a few minutes because I think it's well deserved, but he's a fucking gamer.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs is.
Not trade deadline news necessarily, but the Raiders did fire Josh McDaniels, and they are benching Jimmy G.
See ya!
This is classic Raiders type shit.
Jimmy G and Josh McDaniels.
Mid-season firings and quarterback benchings. Gotta love it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Raiders. The game after they got rid of McDaniels and Jimmy G got benched, they beat the Giants pretty bad. And that's not really saying much, right, already this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got very fortunate to play that team.
Yes. And Did you see that they were smoking cigars in the locker room after this game? Did you see that?
I did not, but that's bad.
My only question is, why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, okay. I get that maybe you're celebrating, yes, the win, lovely. Daniel Jones tore his ACL, lovely. Did that help you guys winning? Probably, maybe not, because Daniel Jones stinks.
I mean,
but it's just not a good look. It's like you guys might as well have had the champagne popping at the same time,
right?
You know, I mean, I don't want my team smoking cigars after a week 9 or 8 win. What, week 8?
Yeah,
week 8 win. I don't want that.
I mean, Joe Burrow doing it after the national championship, that's one thing.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. The Raiders did not get a trophy last week. There's no NFL in-season tournament that they won last week. There's not.
That's a good one. I like that.
There's not. I just... Come on, dude. Cigars. Yeah. After beating the Giants with Daniel Jones, I am playing the second half, whenever he got injured.
Yeah.
Come on, Raiders. You guys were the toughest of the tough back in the day. And now you're doing this.
It's the pretty boy Vegas Raiders now.
Go ahead. You said it, not me.
It's reality, baby.
Hey, Max Crosby had to be on your ass now.
He's the only actual Raider.
Yeah.
In my mind.
I respect him, and I like Devontae Adams.
Devontae's a really good player too. I won't.
Josh Jacobs on my fantasy team. He's been kind of lacking, but that's because the Raiders kind of have been stinking out the joint.
Yeah. Although Josh Jacobs had a couple touchdowns this past week, right?
Yeah. Won my fantasy matchup this week.
Look at you back in the win column.
Look at the big brain on Gage.
Yeah.
I just cigars after a week 9 win.
I mean, I don't know.
Week 8 win.
If Coach breaks out the Ashton VSGs, it's hard to say no. Just kidding.
No, I just didn't like that.
I feel that. On the injury front, Kyler Murray coming back to make his season debut this coming Sunday.
Your fantasy quarterback.
Yes, he's going to be in my starting lineup.
You feeling good?
Count on it. No, I think he's got a real good chance to put up a dud, but I'm gonna see what happens.
Okay.
And then Daniel Jones, of course, we talked about him already. He's done for the year. Torn ACL.
5th round pick by James.
He didn't even have to get hurt, and that was still a bad pick.
And James is currently in last place. And I'm not too far behind. I've had a bad season, but at least I didn't pick Daniel Jones in the 5th round
and try to justify it.
That was
Daniel Jones is like a fucking 12th round quarterback.
He's not even draftable.
He's borderline undraftable. I mean, in hindsight, he's definitely undraftable. But Jesus Christ, James, tough scene. And then, of course, Cam Akers, who was recently acquired by the Vikings, tore his Achilles.
Another tough scene.
He is done for the year.
Is this his second torn Achilles?
Did he have one in college?
For the Rams, I think.
Or on the Rams.
Or
maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe so.
And he came back from it pretty quick.
Yeah. That was a bummer.
Because I think when Rodgers tore his, beginning of the season, he was like, "Oh, I'll be back sooner than you think." And people were comparing him, I think, to Cam Akers, because Cam Akers...
You're right. He did do it,
quickly.
Last year or the year before?
I believe so.
Yeah, last year.
But people were saying, people were saying, well, Cam Akers is in his early 20s, dude. You're in your late 30s.
Yeah, it is definitely different.
But yeah, that sucks for Cam Akers. That's not nice.
It's not the worst for my fantasy team because now Alexander Madison goes back to being for sure RB1.
There you go.
I hate those silver linings, but I'll take it.
So before we get into the games of the week real quick, I have a game that we're going to play from here until the end of the fantasy football season for at least me.
Okay.
So I have Gabe Davis in my fantasy team, and he is the epitome of a boomer bust guy.
Oh yeah.
And so why I'm doing this is because seemingly every week that I start him, he stinks, and when I don't start him, he has a good game.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do from here on out is let you know if I started him and what he did.
Okay. Sounds great.
Last week, I started him. He got me double zeros. Double donuts. If I was in Dylan's other league, I'd be taking a Smirnoff Ice to the face. Thank God I'm not. So this week, I'm letting you know right now, I am not starting Gabe Davis, and we will see what he does next week.
I'm going to laugh when one of your other receivers gets hurt and you have to start him.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. Or
Okay.
unless I can get him, unless I can trade him, which could happen
No, don't trade. You got to keep him. You got to keep him.
for the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll keep
Do it for the pod.
I'll keep him for the pod. So he put up double zeros last week, and it's still somehow projected to get over 10 points according to ESPN. No. The dude was doing cardio on Sunday night. Terrible stuff. Gabe Davis, I will never draft you ever again. Ever. Can't do it. Won't do it. Can't coach with him. Can't win with him.
Can't win fantasy with him. Won't do it.
Won't do it.
Classic. Good old Gabe Davis.
God, not good.
So what happened this week in the NFL, man?
Chiefs beat the Dolphins 21-14 in Germany. I think it's the first game ever in Germany.
Yep. Did you watch this game?
I caught a lot of it, actually.
It was entertaining. Chiefs got up to a hot start.
Raheem Mostert, thank God, had a decent game.
Yeah.
Of course, when I start him, he doesn't do shit. But he had a good game later on.
Yeah.
I know that the players probably don't like it, but I like the 6:30 in the morning games because when you wake up, football's already on.
It was cool for us. It started at 8:30 in Texas.
That is
that was reasonable.
That is perfect.
Honestly, I like their football schedule that they have.
So
11 o'clock normal for, 12 o'clock for the early games.
Okay.
I'd actually even take like mountain time over that. You get 11 o'clock first games,
Yeah.
2 o'clock for the afternoon games.
East Coast sounds like the nightmare.
Yeah, I mean Sunday Night Football starting at 8:15.
And if your team's on, you're probably watching it until 11:45.
Yeah.
On a Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean if
You work on Mondays, you're
Yeah.
like, dude.
if I'm a Niners fan and they're playing on Sunday Night Football, I'm staying up. not watching it.
Exactly. But good game. Of course, these two teams have been rolling. I don't think the Chiefs have... No, actually, they did lose a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But two of the best teams in the AFC. The Dolphins, to me, remind me of the Cowboys a little bit. Beat up on the bad teams, lose to the good teams. And they got to figure it out.
They're not quite there. They're very dangerous, but they're not quite there, I don't think.
No, they're not. Ravens roll the Seahawks 37-3, which, what did I tell you last week? You picked the Seahawks, and I said... I think it's a bad pick. I could be eating my words next week, and I'm not.
Win-win for me. The Seahawks got embarrassed in this one.
Yeah, I like that. Ravens looking like the best team in the league
Honestly,
right now.
that's a real conversation to
They're looking really
had.
good.
I'd still take the Eagles, I think, by a hair, but the Ravens are fucking good.
They're looking good.
Yeah.
Bengals beat the Bills 24-18. The Bengals, it's almost classic Joe Burrow. You start out slow, and then from there on out, you're rolling.
They're back. They're here. They're
not going anywhere.
They're a contender. Chiefs better be afraid.
Joe Burrow is just, I say it every week, he is just so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. He makes it look easy.
Did the Bengals already play the Ravens this year? Because when they
I
do,
don't
that's
think
going to
I don't
be
think they have.
that's going to be a matchup to watch.
I kind of hope they play them like twice in 3 weeks.
I don't like that.
You like when they play early and then late in the season when it really matters?
I like when like week 8 and then week 14.
Yeah.
Like have a little bit of distance between them, but make sure that both teams are kind of in a roll. So they do play in 2 weeks, and then I guess they did already play.
Did they?
Ravens beat them 27-24, second week of the season.
That's right. Close game though.
Yeah.
And I think as of right now, if the playoffs were to would have started, all 4 teams in the AFC North would make it.
Let's fact check that. That doesn't sound impossible.
Fact check me, bro. Sounds good enough.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that'd be. There's still half a season to go.
Yeah, long way to go.
And I think that'd be easily the first time that all 4 teams from one division would make it.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen. Bengals, Ravens for sure.
Those are the best teams. Steelers are a fringe team. Browns, the Browns are okay. They're not great, but they're
They
okay.
have good defense.
Yeah, they do.
But Nick Chubb going down a few weeks ago was bad.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then of course, Eagles beat my Cowboys 28-23, like I thought they would.
That was a really good game, I gotta say. As a fan perspective.
It was. Were you able to watch all this game?
I was watching a lot of highlights because we didn't get it, on Fox normally, so I just was on NFL Network, and they were, jumping into the game here and there. But everything about the game was entertaining.
I mean, it was a fantastic game, I thought. And you hear it all the time. But this game was literally a game of inches.
Yeah.
The Cowboys missed a touchdown. Dak to Schoonmaker, I believe his last name is, tight end.
Yep.
Knee was down
Before the
line.
He turned in.
It turned in. So that was on fourth down.
That was tough.
And then Dak, the next series, I believe.
The 2-point conversion attempt.
2-point conversion. His toe touched out of bounds.
It looked like he was in before replay.
And that was tough. That was tough. And I hate the term moral victory. It wasn't a victory, But
yeah.
I do feel good after this loss.
I think
because this wasn't like how the Cowboys lost to the Niners.
Right.
Like if they would have lost like that again, I'd be like, dude, they're just not there.
Yeah.
They're not there.
Yeah.
This to me proves the Eagles are beatable.
For sure.
I think the Niners have the mental game against the Cowboys, so if they were to play them again, I wouldn't feel good. But when the Cowboys play the Eagles again in a few weeks, or however long it is, it's not that far away. And it's at home. I think the Cowboys can win that game.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. The fact that they almost went into Philly and beat the Eagles, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I'll be honest, I know we saw what we saw about a month ago with the Niners playing the Cowboys, but if the Niners and Cowboys played this week, I wouldn't feel that great about the Niners, to be honest.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't feel good about the Cowboys just given what's happened in the past. I know the past is different than the present.
Right. I'd look at it more of or I'd expect to see what we saw in the playoff game last year or even the year before.
Probably something like
that.
So I think the Cowboys, they would, like the defensive coordinator would be like, dude, we have to change something.
Right.
Like,
we can't go out there and do what we did last time.
It can't be 42-10 again. You just can't.
No.
Cowboys still have a lot of work to do. Luckily, before their hardest part of the schedule, they have a couple easy games. I believe they play the Giants this week, the Commanders, and the Panthers are in there too. So they got to beat
those some wins.
They got to beat those teams.
Yeah.
At least win 2 of those. I'm not gonna say that any of them are given because it's the NFL.
Yeah.
But you gotta cushion it up a little bit, the schedule or your record, until you play the Seahawks, Bills, Eagles again.
Right.
I think they might play the Ravens. Or no, I don't think they do.
I know the Niners play the Ravens, which
I think maybe that's what I'm thinking.
That's gonna be an L at this rate.
So Cowboys, very rare. I feel good after a loss, but I do after this game. And the Eagles are beatable. They're beatable. They're really good, and they're in what Coward said that they know how to do the right things at the right time.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are still kind of getting there, which is sad to say, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So I feel okay. I don't feel terrible. Like I said, I knew this game would be probably a loss.
This was about as good of a loss as you could take from the Cowboys' perspective.
And it's honestly one of the better Eagle Cowboy games I can remember, especially since Dak and Jalen Hurts were able to play. Except like last year, they didn't play each other at all. I think one of them was hurt.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's nice to see that. The Cowboys at home, next time they play the Eagles, the Cowboys have been really good at home. I think they won, I said last week or 2 weeks ago, 11 straight.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We will see.
All right, man. Who's your player of the week?
Player of the week, Joshua Dobbs. I'm picking Josh Dobbs. 20 for 30, 158 yards passing. That doesn't wow the stat sheet. Did have 2 touchdowns. Also had 66 yards rushing. And he led the team in rushing. 1 touchdown. But so Jaron Hall, their backup to Cousins,
right,
got hurt. I think in the first quarter. Dobbs came in without taking a single rep in practice in the week.
Yeah.
And got traded last Wednesday and came in and won the game.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I said earlier he's a gamer.
Yep.
It's a great story. It reminds me last year of what I think it was last year or 2 years ago of what Baker did with the Rams.
Oh yeah.
Remember Baker came in with the Rams and just won that game without having very much beforehand to look through.
Yeah.
So Josh Dobbs. It should be C.J. Stroud, who you're probably going to pick.
Yeah, that's my pick.
And I had honorable mention C.J. Stroud. Josh Dobbs is my pick, though.
Nice. I like that.
Just give him the whole story.
Yeah.
Getting traded midweek.
That is pretty awesome.
Coming in.
For some reason, I thought that he actually started. I did not realize that he was a sub. Injury replacement. Yeah, so my pick is C.J. Stroud. What did he throw for 470 and 5 touchdowns or something like that?
That's all right on the money.
I think he
30 for 42.
The set record for passing yards by a rookie quarterback. Yeah.
Beating your boy.
It was Andrew Luck?
Yep.
Yeah. So, hell of a game. Won a tight one against, who'd they beat? Buccaneers, that's right. Yeah.
That was a great ending to the game, too.
Yeah. No doubt.
CJ Stroud, I loved him. After I saw what he did against Georgia in the playoff last year,
no doubt.
I was like, this guy can play.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the closest thing that he can do against an NFL team. And he put him in almost as good a position as you could do to win that game. And, of course, I don't trust field goal kickers in college football. And they missed it.
Yeah. That was a long kick.
But after that, I was like, this guy can play.
Yeah. No doubt. He proved himself quite a bit in that day.
And do we think the Panthers might regret not picking him at the first pick? We'll see.
It's hard to say. I mean, you could argue that maybe Bryce Young is a better guy down the road, but we'll see. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Do you want the other celebration or that Modelo?
What do you want?
I don't really care either way, but you pick. I'm putting you on the spot.
I'll take the IPA.
Okay.
I know how much you love those Modelos in the bottle.
You don't? Have we talked about this?
Well, you drank can Modelo all weekend.
No, I drank it out of a keg.
It's more of a can than as a bottle.
You're fucking idiot.
I mean, think about it.
It does come out of metal, but it goes straight into the
it's
glass.
Not clear.
Goes straight into the cup.
It's not clear glass. I'll tell you that much.
If it's coming in an individual package, I'll take this nice, sexy glass bottle any day.
I know you will.
Good stuff.
How did we do in picks last week?
Picks. Let's recap
I went 2-1.
I think you did.
Yes.
Man, I think we both did, as a matter of fucking fact. Yep, we both went 2-1. We were both plus $400. Whew. Nice work. Gage, you scored on Philly, -3.
Yep.
Vegas, -3 as well. Your one loss was Buffalo on Sunday night.
Yep.
That was good news for me. I got the Bengals -3 there against the Bills.
Yep.
My other win was the Chargers against the Jets. They were -3 in that game.
That game was bad.
They won that easily. I knew I said that was a bad pick, but it turned out to be very, very good. And then my one loss was Seattle +5.5. Lost that one by about 28 points. No big deal. But yeah, great week for us. Back in the good side of things. Gage, you're 14-13.
Let's go.
Game over 500.
Look at you though.
Plus $200.
God damn, you're looking good right now.
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. 17-9-1 plus $1,300 on the year.
Somebody get a fire extinguisher. This guy is on fire right now.
Fuck with me. Don't start putting my picks on your parlays, okay? You're gonna fuck up my record.
If you want to win money,
nope.
If you want to win money, parlay this ass.
I already know you're gonna fuck with my mojo. So Gage, who do you have for your picks this week?
$300 pick. I'm going with your Niners -3 against the Jags. Niners 3-game losing streak that is well known throughout the sports world. I don't think they're going to lose off the bye week. They have their defensive coordinator on the field now.
Whoa!
Ooh, hey, it matters. I feel like they have to win this game.
I think there is something to be said about them being -3 on the road against a really good team. That means that Vegas has, a good feeling about this team overall. And, come off a bye, I think Kyle Shanahan's he's brewing something.
And this pick for me is a win-win. Unless the Niners win by 1 or 2.
Yeah, right.
Because either the Niners win by more than 3 and I feel like a profit, or the Jags win and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I could deal with either or.
This will be a good matchup, though. I'm excited for this weekend.
This is a 10 o'clock game?
10 o'clock in the morning, yep.
A $200 pick, Lions -3 against the Chargers. Lions coming off a bye week, I believe.
Correct, yep.
Chargers, it's hard to trust the Chargers.
I looked at that one. I mean, the Chargers defense, they're playing pretty well right now, but Detroit's got a pretty damn good offense going.
And I wanted to pick the Ravens -6, but you stole that one from me, so I'm going to pick the Bengals, going with the AFC North against the Texans -7. Big number, don't love it, but the Bengals are rolling. Texans are not.
The Texans, I mean, they're a young team. They don't have that defense that I think can hang with Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Hoping T. Higgins and Joe Mixon can have big days for them.
Right. Jamar Chase is a question mark, so that could be those could be a good thing for those guys.
I love that.
My 3 picks with $300 on the board. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers -3.5 against the Packers. I don't like the thought of Jordan Love going into Pittsburgh on the road. He's been pretty subpar this season. I know Pittsburgh doesn't have a very good offense, but their defense they'll get you,
Okay.
especially against a young quarterback. I'm also taking with my $200 pick the Raiders minus half a point versus the New York Jets.
Weird saying half a point.
Yep. I think I'm gonna roll with the momentum of the Raiders on this one. Obviously, the Jets are they're having a tough time scoring points, so I like the Raiders here. And then with my last pick, like you said, I'm taking the Ravens -6 versus the Browns. I think these divisional matchups can be a little funny sometimes, but I still like the way the Ravens are playing ball right now. So I think they can win by a touchdown. And those are our picks for this week.
Picks are in.
Dun-dun-dun.